Hey, thank you for tuning in again with me, Jason Duncan, and your Friday sales tip. This week, I've got a tip that actually coincides with one of my favorite books written on sales called The Challenger Sale, and it's this book right here. If you haven't read that book and you want to be a professional salesperson, you really need to go read that book. I don't know, I can't remember what year it came out, but it's been out about 7 or 8 years, and it is a phenomenal book that's based on research into thousands of professional salespersons all over the United States, and it discovered that the one who succeeded the most, they refer to as the challenger. And there is a 6-step sales process that they found inside all challengers' methodology and how they approach a professional sale. The first step is called the warmer. Now, what that means is you're supposed to go into that person, your prospect, whether it's their office, their home, or they're meeting you somewhere, and the first thing you do is you have to do what's called the warmer. It's warming up. Now, what we were taught in the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s was that to warm someone up is that you had to be funny, you had to be jovial, had to tell jokes, and you had to do something they called selling off the walls. So you'd walk into their office and you see hanging on the wall a picture of a some kids playing soccer. There's some golf clubs in the corner. There's a bass hanging on the wall or a deer, and you disingenuously look at that and go, "Oh, hey, tell me, you go deer hunting? Tell me about that." Or, "You like to play golf?" "Oh, I like to play golf." And listen, that is so not what the warmer is. That's what old-time salespeople did, and it doesn't work anymore. So the warmer, as taught in the Challenger Sale, is this concept of you showing up and warming up the prospect to you rather than you warming up to them, that they think that you are the expert, that you're positioning yourself and the dynamic that you are there to actually help and that you are an expert in what you're about to talk about. So my tip for today goes right alongside that, and it is this: do your research before you reach out. It is impossible for you to do a proper warm-up. It is impossible to do the first step of a 6-step sales process as taught in the Challenger Sale if you don't know you don't know what's going on inside that company. You need to do your research before you reach out. That's your tip for today. Memorize that. Do your research before you reach out. Do your research before you reach out. What do I mean by research? Well, here's one of my biggest pet peeves as the CEO of a small company. Someone calls on me, they come to meet me, whether it's in my office or over the phone or over the dreaded Zoom meetings that we're dealing with here in 2020, whatever it is, and here's one of the first questions they ask me: "So, Jason, tell me, what is it that you guys do?" Oh my gosh, are you serious right now? Have you ever heard of this thing called the internet? Like, can't you look that up? That is a terrible question to ask. And if you've ever asked that question, you need to go into the room, you need to hit yourself at least one time when nobody's looking, and then never, ever, ever ask that question again. Because if you ask that question, you're obviously not the expert because you didn't take the time to do your research before you reach out. So not only do you need to do your research and know what the company does, you need to know a little bit about the history. How long have they been in business? How long have they been in that building? How long have they done what it is that they do? Did they switch things? What is the person's name that you're meeting with? What is their title? Are they part of the ownership group or are they just part of the executive leadership team? You need to do your research. Not only that, it would be very helpful and very successful of you if you did your research on that industry. For instance, if you're calling on a hospital and you know about what's going on in the healthcare world and how finances are being affected and how hospitals are being affected by what's going on in our society. If you knew all that, part of your warmer could be, "Hey, I know that a lot of hospitals we work with are dealing with A, B, and C, and they're finding it challenging to do X, Y, and Z. Is that the same thing for you, or do you find other things that are also challenging?" Man, let me tell you, that's doing your research before you reach out, and that's impressive, and that's a way to warm up the customer to you. If you want more information about how to do those 6 steps, I didn't come up with the 6 steps, but I really know how to teach and train on those 6 steps, and I actually teach all of my students and my clients and my employees how to use these 6 steps successfully. And the first thing is, do your research before you reach out. So if you want to know how to do that better, why don't you reach out to me? I'm available to come in and train your sales organization on these 6 steps. I've got a 3 to 5 hour session that I can do with your sales team to teach them how to use these 6 steps successfully, starting with the warmer, and to do your research before you reach out. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would be so honored if you'd take a moment, just click on that link there and go and subscribe. It would make me very happy. Also, if you haven't connected with me yet on LinkedIn or Instagram, you can find me at The Real Jason Duncan. LinkedIn is all business, and Instagram, some business, some motivational stuff, and a lot of just kind of the personal insight into the life of The Real Jason Duncan. Thank you for showing up today. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next time. And until then, remember, Jesus is King.